poverty in South Africa and how the social economy can feed into the National Development Plan through improvements to the economic development policy and the current regulatory framework, education and training, access to finance, and the implementation of policies. I so move.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. The Honorable Member Gaila.
Thank you, Chairperson. I hereby move without notice on behalf of the United Democratic Movement that the House notes that the majority of commercial farmers in the Eastern Cape are white-owned. Acknowledge that some households are participating in agricultural activity as means to sustain their livelihood, believing that there should be equality in level of skills possessed by both black and white commercial farmers. Moves that the House in its next sitting debates the skills development of and model of black farmers in the context of great need to increase the amount of successful black-owned skilled farmers. I think I hereby move.
Thank you very much, Honorable Gaila. The Honorable Member, okay. Honorable Faber.
Chairperson,
yes.
I believe that the member has got it wrong. We are busy now with notice of a motion, not motion without notice.
Oh, okay. Honorable Gaila, which motion were you moving?
My honorable friend is right. Thank you, Honorable Faber.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Honorable Faber. The Honorable Member Lund. Did you raise your hand? Okay. The Honorable Lund, I am not alone here. The table is helping me, so they gave me the list, and on the list you are appearing. That is why I'm recognizing you. Thank you very much. There's no problem. Honorable Sefako. Where is Honorable Sefako? Oh.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. On behalf of African National Congress, I hereby give notice that in the next sitting of the Council, I shall move that the Council debate state of mental health in South Africa. Note that it is estimated that a third of South Africans suffer mental illness, and that more than 17 million people in South Africa are dealing with depression, substance abuse, anxiety, bipolar disorder, and schizophrenia. And further knows that the challenge of mental health in South Africa is further compounded by the lack of national mental health plan and the fact that many provinces are not able to report on the financing and interventions for financing of mental health services, because budget for mental health are integrated into mental health budget, particularly at primary healthcare level. I so move.
Thank you very much, Honorable Sefako. Honorable members, we now move to a motion without notice. I will start with you, Honorable Mhlanga, as I am noting the other honorable members.
Thank you, Chair. On behalf of the ANC, I hereby move without notice that the Council notes with utmost concern that the behavior of some of the people who took part in the so-called Black Monday campaign by groupings representing the farming community on Monday. Further notes that some members who took part in the Black Monday campaign displayed despicable and racist behavior that seems to project racial characterization of crime and use racial offensive languages and messages that were intended to encourage racial hatred. 3, acknowledge that the democratic government led by the African National Congress has shown decisive attention and intervention to wage a concerted fight against crime, particularly the alarming scourge of violence murder that is facing the country's racial charges statement and announced which will further deepen racial polarization in our country. That was really with the dark history of racial oppression, violence, and even death. Take this opportunity to condemn the racial remarks and messages made by the members of the Black Monday campaign and calls on the farming community to support the government efforts to wage a concentrated battle against crime in all sectors of our community. So move. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mhlanga. Honorable members, is there an objection on the motion? In light of the objection, the motion may not be proceeded with. The motion without notice will now become a notice of a motion. The Honorable Member Stock.
Thank you very much, Honorable House Chair. Allow me on behalf of the ANC to rise without notice that the House note with appreciation the progress at the inquiry headed by the former Deputy Chief Justice Ntatedi Kgamo Seneke into the deaths of mentally ill patients in the hands of NGOs in the broader Gauteng province. Believe that this inquiry will go a long way in providing the best practice model for the country on the care for mentally ill and other vulnerable groups. Therefore, welcome the inquiry as a courageous step by the Premier of Gauteng under the ANC-led government, Honorable David Makhura, to get to the bottom of the truth about the circumstances that led to this tragedy. Secondly, salute the witnesses who came forward to testify before the inquiry for their courage to stand for the truth and justice. And then also, lastly, once more express our sympathy with the families who lost their loved ones in this tragedy. I so move.
Thank you very much, Honorable Stock. Is there any objection to the motion? Okay, the motion is agreed to in terms of Section 65 of the Constitution. Honorable Pakis.
Object.
It's okay now.
Chair, I stand here to congratulate Lebogang Monyatsi, who is a Miss Wheelchair 2017, who represented South Africa in Poland. We need to note that disabled people in South Africa are not adequately supported by any form of intervention. And I solemnly hope that in future, this Honorable House will better articulate and drive the process of development and the need of deployment of necessary resources for the well-being of disabled people in our land. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Pakis. Is there an objection to the motion? Thank you very much. The motion is agreed to in terms of Section 65 of the Constitution. Honorable Ngita.
Thank you very much, Chair. I hereby move without notice on behalf of the African National Congress that the Council notes and welcome
Mama, please speak to the mic.
With utmost appreciation that South Africa is set to host the 2023 Rugby World Cup after a recommendation from the World Rugby, which identified the Rainbow Nation as the clear leader ahead of the France and also Ireland. Our country won the unanimous approval of the World Rugby Board after scoring highest in the exhaustive evaluation report and expected to be ratified when the Rugby Council meets in London on 15 November with 39 votes that require a simple majority. Also note that South Africa came out on top in the evaluation report 3 of the 5 categories for a total score of 78.97 with its proposed host cities and venues. relying heavily on those used during the 2010 Football World Cup, proving pivotal. And further notes that this ignites the vivid thoughts of the transformation effect of our 1995 win, when our former President Nelson Mandela, wearing a Springbok jersey, famously handed Francois Pienaar the Webb Ellis Park and hosting the tournament will also produce major benefits for South Africa's
Honourable
economy,
Netta.
rugby and sports in general.
Honourable Netta, your time is expired.
Thank you.
So
I so move, Chair.
your motion will now become notice of a motion and will be printed in full on the next order paper. Thank you, ma'am. The Honourable Chief Whip.
Thank you, House Chair. I hereby move without notice that the Council knows that last Saturday, 27 October, marked the celebration of a remarkable human being, consummate freedom fighter and outstanding leader of our people, Oliver Reginald Tambo, the longest-serving president of the African National Congress. Further knows that the centenary celebration of the life of President Tambo was the culmination of a year of celebrations. We started with the declaration of 2017 as a year of O.R. Tambo. Further knows that since February this year, every national day has been celebrated in memory of O.R., from Human Rights Day, Youth Day, Women's Day, to Heritage Day. Our people have come together with a central theme of celebrating O.R. Tambo's contribution and legacy, and takes this opportunity to pay homage and honor to this colossal giant of the National Democratic Revolution, of his selfless service to our nation as a distinguished leader of struggle for liberation of the people who has been oppressed for centuries. I so move.
Thank you, Honourable Chief Whip. Is there any objection to the motion? What is the point of order?
Chairperson, just in terms of leading by example, perhaps it would be wise and befitting for the Chief Whip to next time come to the House with a tie on. Thank you.
Honourable members, that is not a point of order, Honourable Member Isaac. Is there any objection to the motion? Okay, the motion is agreed to in terms of Section 65 of the Constitution. The Honourable Member Engelbrecht.
Chair, thank you very much. On behalf of the Democratic Alliance, I hereby move without notice that this House welcomes the decision of the Gauteng High Court in favour of the Executive Mayor of Tshwane, Solly Msimanga. A full bench of the Gauteng High Court set aside the illegal 2 billion rand Pew Capital Partners smart meter scam perpetrated by the former ANC administration. The city's coffers have immediately been boosted with 950 million rand. The DA-led multi-party administration will fight all politically connected corrupt deals from the previous ANC administration and is ready to serve the people, especially our poor and marginalized residents. I so move.
Thank you, Honourable Member Engelbrecht. Is there any objection, Honourable Members? Is there any objection? In light of the objection, the motion may not be proceeded with. The motion without notice will now become a notice of a motion. The Honourable Member Zwane.
On behalf of the African National Congress, I hereby move without notice that Council 1 notes with utmost concern and apprehension the deadlock on finding a solution for the payment and administration of social grants. 2, that Council notes further that the intervention of the various parliamentary committees in facilitating a solution to this issue is noted. And then, thirdly, that Council joins and support all that are calling on the Minister of Social Development and the Minister of Telecommunications and Postal Services to work together in finding a long-term solution in the administration and payment of grants to our people. I so move.
Thank you, Honorable Member Zwane. Is there any objection to the motion? Order, Honorable Julius. The motion is agreed to in terms of Section 65 of the Constitution. Order, Honorable Members. The Honorable Member Isaac.
Thank you for the opportunity, Chairperson. I trust that my colleague Kathy Dlamini will pay attentive listening to this motion without notice. Chairperson, on behalf of the Democratic Alliance, I hereby move without notice that this Council notes that the Auditor General has yet again echoed that in Mpumalanga provinces, departments and state-owned entities within Mpumalanga province continue to show a crisis in leadership. The Auditor General has found 71%, I repeat, the Auditor General has found 71% of the auditees failed to address risks and the further weakening of internal controls, further exacerbating Mpumalanga's lack of accountability. In the 2016-17 financial year, Chairperson, the provincial government of Mpumalanga further racked up 2.3 billion rand in irregular expenditure, 94% of which was caused by non-compliance to supply chain management legislation. 94% of this province's irregular expenditure is now directly linked to fraud and corruption, as is attested to by the Auditor General, not in my words. It is clear that Mpumalanga provincial government is now corrupt to the core, Chairperson. So in conclusion, this continuous and damning findings prove that this so-called famous ANC government can no longer deny the fact that they have failed the people of Mpumalanga continuously at every level of governance.
Your time has expired, Honorable Julius. Your time has expired. Now your motion will now become notice of a motion and will be printed in full on the next order paper. The Honorable Member Smith.
Thank you, Honourable House Chair. On behalf of the Democratic Alliance, I hereby move without notice that this House congratulates South Africans in uniting against the horrific crime wave of murders, which included farm murders, by taking part in the Black Monday protest around South Africa. In no uncertain terms, however, I strongly condemn the actions of those who hijacked this unity event for their own political gains by displaying the old South African flag and singing the stem. These acts are divisive, hurtful, selfish, narrow-minded, and illustrates a total and utter disrespect to each and every South African who wants to live in peace and harmony as a united nation. As a white Afrikaans South African plus Yapi, I want to tell this right-wingers, not my tribe, not in my name. Murder affects each and every South African, either directly or indirectly. We now stand at an average murder rate of 52 murders per day in South Africa. It is especially worrisome that violent crimes like murders are on the increase. This House calls on the executive to take this matter very seriously and unite in finding an urgent solution to relieve this crisis. It is now the time to bring back the specialized units with successful at targeting specific crimes, such as rural safety units and anti-drug and gang units. I so move. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Smith. Is there any objection to the motion? In light of the objection, the motion may not be proceeded with. The motion without notice will now become a notice of a motion. Order, Honorable Isaac. Order. Order, Honorable Julius. The Honorable Member Gela.
On behalf of the United Democratic Movement, I move that this House notes the irregular expenditure in national and provincial government spheres for the financial year of 2016-17 has ballooned to 55% since 2015-16 to 45.6 billion. Further notes that as reported by the AG, this amount could even be higher as it does not include irregular expenditure of the auditees where the audits are still ongoing. Acknowledge that the Auditor General has indicated that the irregular expenditure of auditees whose audits had not been completed at that date, this report could have been affected. The total amount irregular expenditure could rise to 65.6 billion. Appalled that the report identifies KwaZulu-Natal, Free State, Limpopo, and Eastern Cape as the main contributors to the increase in irregular expenditure, calls on the government to take stringent steps to recover all monies used for purpose not intended to make the lives of people better. I so move.
Thank you, Honorable Gela. Is there an objection to the motion? The motion is agreed to in terms of Section 65 of the Constitution. The last honorable member is Honorable Mushodi.
Thanks very much, House Chairperson. I hereby move without a notice on behalf of the African National Congress that knows the ultimate passing away of Joe Maila, who was the spokesperson of the National Department of Health. Further knows that Joe Maila passed away after an accident in the shooting range on Friday, the 20 October. Also knows that Joe Maila was buried on Saturday, the 28 October at Potter's House Church in Polokwane. Therefore, convey our heartfelt condolences to his family and friends at these difficult times. I so move, Honorable Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Mushodi. Is there any objection to the motion? Thank you. The motion is agreed to in terms of Section 65 of the Constitution. The last one, Honorable Makua.
Thank you very much, Honorable House Chair. I hereby move without notice on behalf of the African National Congress that Sibenya-Stillwater will be laying off 7,000 employees and contractors at 2 unprofitable operations. Further notes that they will be shutting down the Cook mines entirely and putting Beatrix West on stringent operating conditions that could have it closed down on short notice. Therefore, calls on Sibenya to negotiate with labor to find the least difficult way and assist the former employees in continuing with their lives after losing their jobs. I so move.
Thank you very much, Honorable Makua. Is there any objection to the motion? The motion is agreed to in terms of Section 65 of the Constitution. Are there any further motions without notice? Thank you very much, honorable members. I shall now request the Secretary to read the first order of the day.
Consideration of Refugees Amendment Bill, Bill 12B of 2016, and report of Select Committee on Social Services thereon.
Thank you very much. Before I call on the Honorable Elsie Dlamini, allow me, honorable members, to welcome our Deputy Minister. Welcome, Honorable Chet. Honorable Dlamini.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. My greetings to the Deputy Minister, honorable members, our guests in the gallery, ladies and gentlemen, and the public. South Africa and refugees continue to face major systematic challenges, with more asylum seekers' applications still pending at the Department of Home Affairs. These challenges sometimes relate to personal reasons, such as financial issues, family issues, and health-related problems. Apart from contending with corruption and irregular administrative practices at the refugees' reception offices, South Africa, like many other emerging economies around the world, continues to face the challenges of increasing fraudulent asylum claims by economic migrants who do not qualify asylum seekers' permits instead of those who qualify such permitters. Article 14.1 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights guarantees every right to seek asylum from persecution in other countries. The UDHR is the foundation of the 1951 Convention relating to the status of refugees. As signatory to the 1951 Refugee Convention, South Africa is responsible for ensuring that the right of every asylum from persecution is not arbitrarily or unnecessarily limited. Moreover, both the 1951 Refugees Convention and the Organization of African Unity, which is now called African Union, Convention governing the specific aspects of the refugees' problems in Africa, affirm that all human beings shall enjoy fundamental rights and freedoms without discrimination. This is a principle that is firmly entrenched in the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa of 1996, which also emphasizes equality and non-discrimination in the access of rights and freedoms. It is against this background that the South African government, through the Department of Home Affairs, has tabled and introduced the Refugees Amendment Bill to the National Assembly Portfolio Committee on the 15th of September 2016. This is an attempt to deal with immediate issues such as corruption, fraud, and backlog in processing asylum application. The purpose of the bill is to omit provisions referring to the Status Determination Committee, to substitute certain provisions relating to the Refugees Appeals Authority, to provide for the re-establishment of the Standing Committee for Refugees Affairs, and to confer additional powers of the Standing Committee, to confer additional powers of the Director General, to clarify the procedure relating to the conditions attached to the asylum seekers' visas and abandonment of applications, to revise provisions relating to the review of the asylum applications, to provide for the withdrawal of refugee status in respect of categories of refugees, to provide for additional confesses and penalties, and to combat fraud and corruption among staff members. The main aim, amongst others, of the Refugees Amendment Bill are to the further provision relating to disqualification from refugee status and losing such status, to provide for the integrity measures for combat fraud and corruption in the Refugees Reception Offices, Standing Committee and Refugees Appeals Authority, to provide for the re-establishment of the Standing Committee for Refugees Affairs, and to confer additional powers of the SCRA, to clarify the procedure relating to the conditions to the asylum seeker visas and abandonment of application, to revise provision relating to the review of the asylum application, provide for the withdrawal of the refugee status in respect of categories of refugees, provide for the additional offenses and penalties. These are the main objectives of the amendment bill. As per the constitutional mandate of the Portfolio Committee in the National Assembly, they held its public hearings on the Refugees Bill Amendment Bill, Bill 12B of 2016, on the 14th of January 2017, and following deliberations, passed the bill in March 2017. The bill was then referred to the Social Services Select Committee in the National Council of Provinces for concurrence. The Select Committee on Social Services received the Refugees Amendment Bill from the Portfolio Committee on Home Affairs on the 15th of March 2017. The Select Committee received briefing from our parliamentary state legal advisors and also the state law advisors. They were accompanied by the Department of Home Affairs with their legal section. They briefed the committee. This was in order for the committee members to fully understand what the Refugees Amendment Bill entails. As our constitutional obligation, the committee invited inputs from the public through public submissions and advertisement. For the public inputs was placed on the 2nd of June 2017 in all 11 languages. The closing date for submission was the 16th of June 2017. On the 22nd of June 2017, the committee had a meeting whereby the Department of Home Affairs, state law advisors, and the Parliamentary Legal Services were to brief the committee and finalize the bill. However, the committee observed that there was an overwhelming interest from the public on the bill. As the submissions were still coming, some of them were late. In total, the committee received 11 submissions. The committee felt that it would be unfair not to consider the late submission. As a result, there was an extension of the submission. Subsequently, the committee considered all the submission and requested the Department of Home Affairs, Parliamentary Legal Services, and State Law Advisor to look into submission made and provide responses to the concerns and suggestions that were made by the public. During the discussion, some members of the committee felt that the refugees law was adequate at present because some of the public comments were of the view that the bill should wait until immigration policy is in place. But the committee felt that it should go ahead because it's dealing with, there are emergent issues that should be considered before the policy. There are also allegations that there is corruption, fraud, and asylum application backlog in some of the refugees reception centers. Therefore, the bill could not wait. On the 12th of September 2017, the Select Committee on Social Services, having considered the subject of the Refugees Amendment Bill, Bill 12B of 2016, as it was referred by the National Assembly as Section 75. The committee then, all members of the committee agreed on the bill. We therefore present this bill to the House for consideration. I thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Member Dlamini. Honorable members, we will have to have a 2-minute break. And thereafter, we'll wait for the bells. The bells will ring and come back to the House. If ever we form a quorum, then we'll continue with the voting. What is the problem, Honorable Smith? Oh, declaration first. My apology. Okay, you may take the space, Honorable Smith.
Chair. I think those glasses that you put on really works for you. Honourable Chair, it must be noted that the amended bill never came back to the committee to consider. I would like to make the following declaration. The Refugee Amendment Bill and the original act are the cornerstones of South Africa's policy framework on the entry requirements and treatment of refugees in our country. It cannot be argued that our borders must be maintained responsibly and diligently, and we must always be aware of our domestic responsibilities and to the challenges faced by our citizens. We must, though, never forget we have the finest constitution in the world, we have one of the most progressive constitutions in the world, and as such, we must never lose sight of what our constitution means for not only South Africans, but those within our borders. While there are many proposals in the bill that are welcomed and necessary, it's a view of the Democratic Alliance that the bill fails in some critical areas. The first shortcoming is the bill's definition of what a dependent is. It is a limited definition and seriously prejudicial to asylum seekers who are most in need of protection. We must always remember, no one wants to leave their home. No one wants to travel in unsafe environments to an uncertain future. To reach the state of requiring refugee status, we must understand and have great empathy of the desperation experienced by these asylum seekers. The bill does cater for minor biologically related children. However, the bill does not consider the case of normally or informally adopted children, nor does it consider the entire class of dependents beyond minor children, spouses, and parents. It is, in fact, silent on those close relations that may be disabled, indigent, or suffer from some or other form of disability. The very purpose of the bill is betrayed by its limiting definitions. Another shortcoming of the bill is that the fact that upon ministerial decree, refugee status may cease. Now, we have seen in the past the powerful and political application of ministerial decrees. The previous Minister of Home Affairs in the case of Dalai Lama. There is no further qualification or test for this session. As in all matters of human dignity and the right to life, power over the lives of asylum seekers should not be granted lightly. There should be a highly qualified test for such circumstance, or at the very least, it should be based on reasonable grounds. The bill before us today is admirable in its intentions, but it falls short of the acceptable mark. We have no fundamental opposition to the bill. In fact, we think that such legislation is imperative, but not like this and not in its current form. It is our opinion that the bill does not conform to our constitution.
Honorable Hatton, now
does it
that
comply
your
with
time has
international
expired.
best practice. You
Thank
wanted to say my time is up?
Yes,
I
now.
thought so. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, I must first allow political parties to make their declarations or vote if they so wish. Can I check if ever other parties? Honorable Zwane?
Thank you, Chairperson. For the record, I do want to put before this House that sufficient time was actually given to process the bill. The committee was very gracious in actually extending the time for the public to make input. And I think we had an engagement with the Department of Home Affairs on 3 occasions working on this bill. And it was not the agreement. We did advise the Department of Home Affairs to go and factor in the amendments that we were proposing. Remember, it was proposals. And the legal section was going to look into whether the import is consistent with the processes of formulating a bill. And there was no agreement that the department must come back to the committee with the version that reflects the proposals. So what the honorable member is saying was not agreed upon by the committee. What we put as a priority here is the people of South Africa and the people that are going to benefit from the bill. Because this government is led by a caring movement, and we think it is appropriate for the bill to be processed further. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Zwane. The honorable members, it looks like there is no other political party that want to make a declaration. The bell will be rung for 2 minutes in order to allow us to continue with the voting. Let's have a break of 2 minutes.
There's not even people in the crowd.
Yeah, but I was.
Honorable members, please don't leave the house. The bell will be rung in a minute, I believe now. So, Papa. Can I request the honorable members to take their seat? Honorable members, Honorable Kaula, since I have observed that we do not have a quorum, we will defer the bill for the next time. Thank you, and we will continue. Okay, Mayor Zwane, Honorable Zwane.
I'm rising on a point of order, Chairperson.
What is the point of order, ma'am?
The point of order is that we want the people of South Africa to be aware that when we are trying to improve the quality of their lives, there are parties in the House like the DA that will always seek to ensure that we don't pass the bills by walking out of the House before we vote. Thank you, Chairperson. The people out there must know.
Okay. Thank you, Honorable Member Zwane. I see the Honorable Member Engel. Oh, Honorable Member, Honorable Member Lond is also standing. Honorable Lond, what is the problem?
Madam Chair, with reference to the previous speaker that you're also allowed to say what she just did, I need to point out that if the ruling party takes into consideration all the members of the committee and what they say, if the ruling party, who has the majority, actually makes the effort to pitch up at the meetings for which they are paid to pitch up, and not keep on with the infighting and not being able to pass bills through the House. This is not an example of any other party. This is an example of the ANC not being able to get their members into the House for what they are paid.
Okay, Honorable Lond, your point of order and that one of Honorable Zwane carries weight, but I still maintain the order that I put, that we defer the bill for the next sitting. Thank you. We continue with the debate of the day. We are now going to debate on the impact of climate change and unpredictable rainfall. And the first speaker, order, honorable members. Order, 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 honorable members. Order, honorable members. Order, honorable members. If it was not because of the point, Honorable Klimbi, Honorable Timye, honorable members, allow the House to continue. Well, the honorable member Shibugona was outside, but because we had 2 points of orders, then they gave her an opportunity to come in. So I don't have, no, she's here. So we have to call the honorable member to come and debate. It's your time, Honorable Shibugona. I see the 2 honorable members are standing. Honorable Lond, what is your problem? Honorable Lamini, take your seat, ma, you'll be the next. I didn't see you, I saw him. Then when you'll be the next. Yes, it's true, it's true. He stood up first, and Mama will be the next. There's no problem, I'm allowing them to speak. Honorable Lond.
Honorable Chair, it's not a problem, it's actually a point of order. I just want to find out if you would rule if the word sellout when you refer to your colleagues in the NCOP is parliamentary or not. And if it's not, please ask the Honorable Klimbi to withdraw. And if you say it is parliamentary, then we will refer it to the necessary body.
You know, that is an unbecoming language. It's not parliamentary. Honorable Klimbi, did you say the word? Or he's not agreed? There's no problem. We continue. Take your seat, Honorable Klimbi. The Honorable Member Dlamini. Order, Honorable Smith. Allow Honorable Dlamini to say what she wants to say.
Honorable Chair, I'm standing on a point of order.
What is the point of order,
When
ma'am?
the order was presented by the table, the member concerned was not in the House. Why did you wait for her to come?
Allow the Honorable Dlamini to say what she wants to say. I'm listening, ma'am.
I'm saying she was not in the House. You waited until she comes in. Can you rule on that? Is it allowed for you to wait for a member outside to come in?
Take your seat, ma'am. Well, it was on public and this is live. I never waited for anybody. When we were supposed to start, the Honorable Member Zwane stood up on a point of order and I was supposed to allow her to say whatever she wanted to say. And also the Honorable Lond. That is the time when many members from the DA were now walking in through that door. And the Honorable Member was here. So now, please, Honorable Members, don't really degenerate this House. Honorable Shibukwana, it's your time for debate. Okay, take your seat, Honorable Shibukwana. Honorable Mtimye?
Madam Chair.
Yes?
Can we check, can all of us who come from the ANC walk out on Honorable Shibukwana when she speaks? Is that parliamentary? And that's her debate alone.
Honorable members, I cannot even hear what the Honorable Mtimye is saying. May you please repeat, pa? Honorable Mtimye?
Oh, you're back.
Honorable Mtimye. Honorable Mtimye, let me allow you to repeat what you were saying. Honorable Mtimye.
Can all of us who come from the ANC walk out of this house and leave Honorable Shibukwana to speak alone, to debate alone?
Okay, Honorable Member. You have a responsibility, a huge responsibility, and you represent the people who chose you to be in this house. I know you will never do that, and it's not right, it's not even parliamentary. Thank you very much. Honorable Lond, can we please continue with this?
After the point of order. Chairperson.
What is the point of order? Honorable Klimbi, I'll give you a chance to speak.
I'm pretty certain that even though Honorable Klimbi lied in this House by not acknowledging that he said sellout, it was clear to everybody that the Honorable Member Dimunya said, "Hold your back." Now, please rule whether that is parliamentary or not, and if it's not, please ask the member to withdraw.
Okay. Can you allow me? The rules allows him to rise on a point of order and also for me to put in a ruling. Can I request you to take a seat? Then I'll call you. I'll recognize you. It is not parliamentary, Honorable Lond. Can I check with the Honorable Mtimye? Honorable Mtimye? Honorable Mtimye? Did you say what the Honorable Lond said you said?
I deny it, Honorable Chair.
You're denying, okay. Thank you very much. Can I then? Honorable members, we are going to continue with this debate. We are going to continue with the debate. Honorable Faber, Honorable Smith, you cannot do what you're doing. You heard me when I was recognizing the Honorable Dlamini. Honorable Faber, please take your seat. Thank you, Honorable Dlamini.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Is it parliamentary for Honorable Lond to say to Honorable Mtibuye he lied? Is it parliamentary?
Okay, Honorable Dlamini, I really want to continue with the order of the day. It's not parliamentary. Allow me to go and check on the Hansard and then I'll come back with the ruling.
He was standing saying in public. He was on the mic.
Oh, he's agreeing. He's saying he said he lied. It's not parliamentary. Honorable Lond.
Can he withdraw?
Honorable Hattin, how can you join this? No, you can't do that. I'm still busy. Honorable Lond, you said that and you are agreeing. It's not parliamentary. Please don't repeat that. Never repeat that.
You must withdraw.
If you want to withdraw, you can withdraw. You're standing, Honorable Faber, and you know it's not allowed.
Chairperson, I withdraw lie and say he told a gross untruth to this House.
Thank you very much, Honorable Faber. Honorable Smith, can you allow us to continue with the business of the day? What is the point of order?
Thank you, Madam Chair. In fact, the Honourable Munye said it on the speaker. So I would request you to go to Hansard and check whether he said that and then come back. Thank you.
I think now you're giving us a way forward and you're assisting the House. I will definitely do that and come back with the ruling. Honorable Faber, what is the problem?
Thank you, Chairperson. I want to go further. If it is on the Hansard that the Honourable Member did say this, I would like you to take it further to the ethics that this member has openly then lied. I'm saying if it is on Hansard that the member said this, then I would like you to take this to refer it to the Ethics Committee because he then lied to the House.
Honorable Faber, I have agreed that I'll go and check on the Hansard. Honorable Mpambo, continue.
Thank you, Chairperson. Thank you for the debate on the state of water affairs in South Africa, the impact of climate change and unpredictable rainfall. Hlali ngaphambili ohloniphekileyo, malungu eParlamente nabantu baseMzantsi Afrika. Amanzi adlala indima enkulu ebomini bethu. Senziwe ngawo kwaye siyawafuna mihla wonke. Siyawasela naxa sipheka nanjengokuba singabantu. Ukusela amanzi ngokwaneleyo ugutyulo nasezimpilweni zethu kubalulekile. Awabalekanga nje kuphela njengenxa yenjongo eziyimfuno ukuqinisekisa ukuba sempilweni komuntu. Kodwa akwayimfanelo ukuba ukuze umuntu abe sempilweni siwafumane angundoqo kuphuhliso. Ukuphucilo nenkqubela phambili yobonelele ngezinkonzo yinzuzo kwilizwe lethu loMzantsi Afrika. Ngenxa yokuba luncedo lezoqoqosho nokumelela kwakhona ngokukhawuleza nangexesha lokwanda kwezimeko zotshintsho lwemozulu iclimate. Inani lamazwe asakhasayo lifumana ubunzima ekuhlangabezeni iingxaki zokunqongophala kwamanzi nanjengabinawo ngokwaneleyo kumaziko akhoyo amanzi. Ezinye zezingxaki zingabangela kumba wokwanda kwenani labantu bendawo ngokungalindelekanga, ukufudukela ezidolophini, kukwanda kwemisebenzi kwezoqoqosho. uMzantsi Afrika awunxaxhanga kwaphela kule miba. An old English proverb says, water is colorless and tasteless, but you can live on longer than eating food. On the 3rd of August 2017, as a member of Council, I moved a notice of motion of state of water and climate change in South Africa. The main tenets of the motion dealt with the mandate of the national government oversee maintenance of the water infrastructure, such as a clean-wetland dam, wall which has to be raised. And 2, the Western Cape government had to divert about 75 million of disaster relief funds cabinet allocated to the province to pay for the essential maintenance of the canals leading to the full Flay Dam, which the national government's responsibility and the calling of the resolution by the Council. I would like to state, Honourable Chairperson, the national government, to date, the Department of Water and Sanitation owes the Reserve Bank, contractor and water boards approximately 5 billion. It is important to note that such areas is negatively affected by
already bank trading water entity and the failure of non-payment by the ANC government. ANC. It creates an environment of distrust which would negatively affect any future prospects. The national government would have this entity. It is crucial that we understand what the national government, the provincial government, and the local departments are interlinked, as there are certain responsibilities of each department is mandate to oversee. One of the other issues is the problem of underspending in the national department. The recorded budget for water infrastructure development shows a decrease of 500 million. In the 2016-17 financial years, these numbers are expected to worsen as the 2017-18 proposed budget undergoes a further increase of 3.5 billion. Let us just go over the most recent shortfalls. First, Chairperson, there has been gross underspending in the last 3 financial years. Secondly, even when certain projects have been implemented, the national government delays the progress and makes unnecessary changes, which adds to the total expenditure. Examples of such situation are evident in Lesotho Highlands, project that has been delayed by 6 additional years and the removal of the construction. Unit in the Clan William Dam led to at least 3 years added on an approximately extra 1 billion of tax money paid by the taxpayers of this South African government. It is not surprising that we have recently that the National Department of Water and Sanitation is essentially bankrupt. Entshona Koloni, mhlali ngaphambili ohloniphekileyo, imbalela okwangoku eMzantsi Afrika kumba oyinhlekele kuzwelonke. Imbalela mandithi igqugqisile kuzwelonke nangona urhulumente kazwelonke engatsho. Nangaphandleni kokuba amaphondo angamanye amaninzi ebhengeza imbalela njengentlekele kumaphondo, imbalela ezimandundu ezenza karhoqo ngonyaka zinqabile eKapa nakummandla waseNtshona Koloni. Iingcaphephe zemozulu ezintloko kwiYunivesithi yaseKapa zibonekisile ukuba kummandla wethu imbalela yenzeka kube kanye kwisigaba sika-2017. iNtshona Koloni ifumene umlinganiso wemvula lingenanga. Iinkonzo zemozulu zaseMzantsi Afrika nazo zathelekelela kwangaphambili ukuba iphondo lisenokufumana izandyondyo zemvula. Xa kuthelekiswa ngo-2015, kungoko ke esi siphakamiso sibalulekile. Sifikelela ixesha lolawulo lokwenziwa komsebenzi obaliselela iphondo leNtshona Koloni ukuba ithe yachaphazeleka kumandundu kukwando kwezihlandlo zokutshintsha-tshintsha ngokukhawuleza kwemozulu. Ingxelo yeziko lenkulumbuso yehlabathi laseRubu naqumrhu engxelo zamaxesha onyaka jikelele kwandlandlolo zinika ingxelo zemozulu ezikwiqondo eliphantsi phakathi kweziko lophando lwemozulu noluntu lwehlabathi jikelele. Nalo zange liphumelele ukubonelela le ngxelo echanekileyo kwandlandlolo. Isibhengezo sentlekele siyimfuneka. Umphathiswa wezamanzi uthathe ixesha ukubhengeza ngaso ukuze sibe nako ukutshintshela uqingqo lube nokusetyenziswa enye injongo ekufuneka ifezekiswa. Ukugrumba imingxuma etsala amanzi, ukuqokelela kwamanzi asetyenziswayo ahlanjwe abe nokuphinda asetyenziswe kwakhona nokuxhasa amafama ngokugcina abaqeshwa emsebenzini nokondla imfuyo zabo amafama. Ingxolo yemozulu kwangaphambili zange isinike salathiso sokuba ukoma kwembalela ngexesha lobusika baka-2015 kuya kuphinda kwenzeka ngo-2016. Ngethuba ezona ngxaki ezindundoqo eNtshona Koloni zigunyaziswa zezomthetho urhulumente kazwelonke nokungani athwaxwa zingxaki zokungabikho kolawulo olufanelekileyo nolusilelayo kwinhlumekelelo yezopolitiko nokunqanda inkohlakalo nobuqhinga okanye ukwenza izicwangciso zeziganeko zemiba obonakalise ungehli oku. Kungokunje uluntu lunolwazi mhlali ngaphambili ngokuqhatywa kwesicelo sethu sesibhengezo kwiphondo lentshona koloni jikelele liziko lolawulo lwentlekele kwazwelonke NDMC. Kufanele ukuba sizuze isixamali se-8 billion yezigidi esisuka kwisebe lezamanzi nogutyulo kazwelonke kumaxesha esixamali esingama-27 million ezigidi nomhlaba malunga nezingxowa-mali sisalindile. Buhlungu bangungu sithi iphondo lentshona koloni. Iphondo kwanyanzeleka ukuba litshitshele ama-25 ezigidi ezisuka kwezinye iprojekthi kubuchuluboyilo lokongezelela okanye ukwandiswa kamanzi kuquka ukuxhotyiswa nokugrunjwa kwemingxunya etsala amanzi. Sesibona sisenza amabona ndenzile emhlanje ngaphambili. Inkcitho mali yesebe yabantu 32 yezigidi ezongezelele ekunikeni ithuba lokufaneleka lokutya okwaneleyo kwempahla. Kwisixeko sakhe usibonda sodolophu udilile uthumele isicelo kwinyanga ezimbini edlulileyo sokufumanela kwemvume yokwandlalwa ngaphambili kohlengahlengiso loqingqomali ukubonelela ngenkxaso-mali kwezinye indlela ezinokusetyenziswa luncedo lwamanzi. Kutshanje umphathiswa Gigaba unike imvume yesicelo ngesixeko saseKapa sokuphambukela kwimiselo yomthetho lolawulo lwezimali zikamasipala emema ukuhlangabeza nembalela ngokukhawuleza. Ibhunga leKapa libe nonika oku ukufuna ukuhlaziywa kwamanzi asetyenziswa ngokuphindaphindeneyo iNorthern Cape MEC of Agriculture, Rural Development and Land Reform, Unorman Shushu, spent 25 million of the Northern Cape drought relief funding was declared in December 2016. This comes after revelation after the Haaswater-based distribution lodger to drought-stricken farmers in the Northern Cape allegedly bought himself 2 million Bentley shortly after doing business with the Agricultural Department and the ANC cadre, Emmanuel Tabe Sihlobuko, had allegedly pocketed about 7 million intended for drought relief after having inflated of drought pellets, charging 280 bags of pellets that are actually valued at 177 per bag. In this way, Sihlobuko was so able to make profit of 100 on each of 73 sold to the department. This means that 20 million spent over feed of starving animals, only 13 million achieved value for money. I want to draw to your attention, an additional 42 bags of pellets could have been brought relief to thousands of livestock had the Agriculture Department been to the call of the disaster management. The DA in the Northern Cape previously wrote to Mr. MEC Shushu, requesting a breakdown of how the drought relief funding was going to be distributed. We have escalated this call in another letter, specifically questioning the inflated prices charged by the service provider. I want to stress the Eastern Cape, Mpuma Koloni. Malunga neNelson Mandela Bay, esinye isigqibo siye sathathwa iDA yokubhengeza iNelson Mandela njengenye yentlekele ngenxa yembalela nanjengokuhla komjelo wolawulo lwe-ANC. Usibonda sodolophu Hlonipho sele esiqalisile ukwenza isicwangciso zakhe esifanelekileyo ukuhlangabezana nale ntlekele balibelela ukulwa banamadama abonelela amanzi eButterworth ahlala echilo lonke ixesha abantu baya wafuna amanzi kwiminyaka embalwa edluleyo iphondo lasempuma koloni lafumana eyona mbalela enkulu nto leyo eyathi yachaphazela ukukhula kwezivuno zombona wasemaphandleni ngama 56%. Isiphumo kwanqongophala ukubunqongophala kongo kwabangela ungabikho kwezilwanyana ngokwaneleyo nokuba nesiphumo semfuno amasebe eDA asebe obonelelo kunye norhulumente ngokumanyeneyo afuna ukuyilungisa lento. Urhulumente kazwelonke weDA anganciphisa indleko zikarhulumente kodwa iquka isebe lezentlalo yoluntu isebe elo lezamanzi nogutyulo umphathi wolawulo lwenkqubo yemisebenzi yoluntu ekungoku isebe lemisebenzi ukwangamela kocwangciso kobuchule nokugcinwa kwamanzi NIMS nokuphucula kwephulo lokubonelela kwenkonzo zimisile kwisebe lemisebenzi yoluntu ungamelo kumiselwa kokwakhiwa okurhweba kwisebe lemisebenzi yoluntu ubuchule bomsebenzi wolawulo nesicwangciso sokusetyenziswa komhlaba ngokubanzi kwemisebenzi ngokwasemaphandleni notshintsho lomhlaba nenkqubo yokubonelela ngenkonzo nokwakhiwa kombutho kwesebe lwenkonzo zoluntu nolawulo lwesicwangciso kumanyene neembonelelo zenkonzo yokwenza ngolu hlobo urhulumente weDA angenza okufikelela ku-900.
Honorable Mpambo Shibukwana, your time is expired, ma. Your time is expired.
Okay.
Thank you. Honorable Zwane. Yes, ma. Don't leave it. Don't fickle with yeah.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to know if we can actually literally use that government podium for electioneering, as the honorable member Mpambo Shibukwana was doing.
Honorable Zwane, you are out of order, Mama. Allow the House to continue. Okay, honorable member, please. Honorable Shibukwana, you are done with your presentation. Can I request the Honorable Minister, the Honorable Deputy Minister of Water and Sanitation, Maichwete.
Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces, honorable members of the NCOP, honored guests, honorable members, I think I must say it up front that I was asked to speak about climate change in South Africa, not the report of what we're doing in the department. Otherwise, I should have done that. So I think the speaker before me was out of order. So I'm not going to respond to what she has said. It is a pleasure to be addressing this session on the state of water situation in South Africa under the theme of the impact of climate change and unpredictable rainfall. This is a fitting topic given that the 23rd Conference of Parties to the United Nations, that is COP23, Framework Convention on Climate Change, will be meeting in Germany this month to advance the work program under the Paris Agreement reached in 2015, as well as the climate action during pre-2020 period. South Africa, as we are all aware, is one of the 40 driest countries in the world, receiving less than world average rainfall under natural conditions. These conditions are now exacerbated by a highly variable climate characterized by sudden or abstract changes in temperature and rainfall. In the hydrological context, such climate change typically expresses itself in terms of changes, either in average temperature or in rainfall over decades or longer time. We are also informed that South Africa like the rest of the world, is experiencing extreme weather driven by strong El Nino and La Nina events. This manifests itself in droughts and flooding, often in close succession. We have seen this with countries' every severe drought conditions being followed by severe storm events like recently experienced in KwaZulu-Natal. Weather variability or longer-term climate change is a real threat, and as a country we need to develop, strengthen our adaptation and coping mechanism to this new normal. It is a reality that it is not in the distant future anymore. It is here, and we are in it. Nationally, and in many parts of Southern Africa Development Community SADC region, severe drought conditions directly impact on our water, energy, and food security. Research by Water Research Commission shows that 90% of Southern African Development Community, that is SADC, area will experience drought by the end of this century. Conservative seasons will show below average rainfall impacts on our water availability for domestic use and economic growth. The most resource poor and our vulnerable communities are always worse off in situations such as these drought conditions because they do not have adequate means to adapt. We now have to ask ourselves this question with this reality upon us. What then should we do as a people? A real solution lies in implementing what Minister Mokonyane has been calling the water and sanitation revolution. I am glad to indicate that in this regard, Water Research Commission is convening with other key stakeholders, including South African Weather Services, Agricultural Service Research Council, Council for Scientific and Agricultural Research, and universities, an advisory panel to provide short, medium, and long forecast to enhance planning within the water and related sectors. We can become a resilient nation and lead the world in ensuring continued water and food supplies for all our people and the environment. But we need to follow up on these activities. The other challenge that is brought about by impact of climate change is with regard to rainfall as predicted going forward. Studies show that Limpopo catchment is projected to experience decrease in rainfall of up to 35% by 2050. However, some catchments, such as parts of Tukela, are projected to experience increases in stream flow of between 16 to 38%. It is an unfortunate contradiction that may result in some areas that require water getting deficit, while those that have ample water getting more than they need. Transfer of water is also costly and may not be practically feasible. We all know that the sea has more water than we need, but pumping it inland is economically not feasible. Climate change impacts also include reduction of runoff and groundwater recharge through evaporation, increased seawater level through the increased temperature, causing heat waves and waterborne diseases such as diarrhea. Adaptation remains key for our country and the world. The key question is, what measures should be put in place to adapt the climate change impacts? The fact that under natural conditions, even before we take account of climate change impacts, the nation has less than world average rainfall, is subjected to high evaporation rate, and has less water available than required, means adaptation means are inevitable. South Africa's main source remains surface water. This is oversubscribed or over-allocated, with relatively fewer sites that are appropriate for dam building. The bottom line, therefore, is that South Africa needs to go for an unconventional approach towards water access. More groundwater development needs to be undertaken. Water reuse must be enhanced. Brackish and seawater desalination, and most definitely upscale rainwater harvesting. We may even explore banking water by artificially recharging aquifers with treated raw water and then pump it out of later use. Here I'm talking about South Africa, not Western Cape. In truth, might what turn out of be comparatively cost-effective and lasting solution remains sustainable management of our resources. As a country, we need to be more efficient in water use, including reducing non-revenue water by attending to water losses and leaks from the system. We must refrain from polluting and limited water resources that we have. The necessary vehicle to achieve this through awareness raising and education or more efficiency in water management and use. Participation of stakeholders and local government level is very important because the country can only reduce non-revenue water through communication and collaboration with local government. The water infrastructure is also not always optimal functional. Operation and maintenance, including development and implementation of operating rules for boreholes, must not be overlooked. Boreholes must be operated according to prescripts and rules rather than used unsustainably. Regular data and information monitoring are necessary parts of a good adaptation strategy. We need to keep track of how much water is used relative to what is available and taking account of changing climate. Nearly preparedness, early warning tools and climate focus should be used to inform planning and management of resources. We need to be aware of track potential drought events before they happen. Whenever possible, must also mean working collaboratively with other partners such as South African Weather Services and climate modelers to not only ensure access to forecasts, but clearly interpret what those mean to water and how they can warn us of looming disasters before they occur. One of the most important adaptation strategies that is needed to prioritize and strengthen is to water conservation and demand management. Without this, climate change will continue to negatively impact on us. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Deputy Minister. I shall now call on the Honorable Sefako.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair, Honorable Permanent Delegates, and thanks for the opportunity to partake in this very, very important debate of today. Tell no lies and claim no is a victory. And do not, indeed, if there is a phenomena that can bring all the international community together, is the climate change. Irrespective of their ideological differences or political parties. This is a phenomena that indeed can bring humanity to a disaster. We indeed appeal to all members of the community to join hands to fight this scourge. Honorable Chair, climate change is happening now, and it needs collective action to counteract. The United Nations Climate Change Conference here in Durban in 2011 delivered a breakthrough on the international community's response to climate change. In the second largest meeting of its kind. The negotiations advance in a balanced fashion. The implementations of the Convention, the Kyoto Protocol, the Bali Action Plan, and the Cancun Agreement. The outcome include a decision by parties to adopt a universal legal agreement on climate change as soon as possible and no later than 2015. The then president of COP17, Maite Nkwana Mashabane, had this to say: "What you have achieved in Durban will play a central role in saving tomorrow today." By the way, I'm speaking of the African National Congress leader. Taking tune from the Freedom Charter, equally so the 53rd resolutions of the National Conference, which was held in Free State, in Mangaung. The resolution of the economic transformations resolved that the Department of Rural Development should embark on a project of building and constructing dams for water harvesting. We are today proud to announce that the ANC-led government in the Northern Cape has got a proposal which will be commissioned for the construction of the Rival Dam, which is going to benefit the people of the Northern Cape. And of course, not only in the Northern Cape, the ANC-led government is taking this climate change very serious, is party to the convention or even speed up the signing of the mitigations of this climate change. We are therefore appealing to all parties, including the DA, to make sure that we are taking an important role. Who is, of course, wasteful in the water usage? Die methode wat die boere gebruik vir die besproeiing is so morsig dat al die mense wat inleiding doen, vooral de methode wat morsig is met die water, moet zorgen dat hulle moet betere methode gebruik om suiwig te wees vir die water. Re ikuela jalo gore e re gare re harvesta metsi ka dijojo le go aga matamo le letsema le le tsweletseng le tswelwa ke puso ena e teletseng pele ke mokgatlo o mogolo wa African National Congress go fatolla matamo le peeletso ya metsi gore re safe re somarele metsi re re a ke be le tshomo la batho ba botlhe mme gone tota re ke re lebelele le bo di-industry tse kgolo e leng tsa di-mine difeme tse le gore di dirisa metsi gagolo re tswa letsholo la gore a re ikueleng gore go safewe metsi ra itse gore tiriso gape ya motlakase e tloga le yone e tlhotlholetsa di-carbon emission. Mme re leka thata gore le dikoloi tse e leng goreng ke dikgorokgoro tse di ntshang mesi e mentsi le diterekere, le bao bahumi ba reng ga matamo re be re ba bona ba tshamekela mo gone ka mekoro eo e ntshang mesi eo e leng yone e tlhotlhoeletsang gore climate e leng kotsi mo re bonang ena re re a ba ke ba fokotseng. Mme re leboge gagolo technology e leng teng ga re lebelela university e ko Bokone Bophirima ko re tlhagang teng porofenseng ele ko Potchefstroom ba na le maiteko a mantle a go ntsha koloi e tla beng e tsamaya mme e sa berekise dipetrolo tse di tla so ke boiphitlhelelo jo e leng goreng ke nnete re tshwanetse gore re bo iteele matsogo re re tlhotlheletso ya puso ena e eteletsweng pele ke African National Congress e mo science and technology e itlhomileng pele tota re leboge gobane e butse thuto e ema nokeng bašwa ba botlhe go sa kgathalesega gore ke ba mmala ofe gore re ke re tsene mo technologying e tla thusang go fokotsa tiriso ore go kgotlhela loapi ka mme gape re ke re lebelele gape go bao ba dirisang the smelters gore a ba ke ba dirisane sentle le puso ba tlhomphe molao e se ka re ga ba dira di-smelters o kry-e ba goteditse lewapi le mo mogoteng o feteletseng ke boikuelo jo ke neng ke tshwaela go le kalo modulasetilo tota ntho e re ka e gatelelang gone ke gore go sa kgathalese gore re ba mafapha ape kapa ape a re tlogeleng go bua boseng nnete re ke re bolele nnete a re kopantsheng diatla re le bana ba Afrika Borwa ke ya rona rotlhe a re ageng ene mme re itse gore re maloko a lefatshe ba lotlhe. We are the members of the global community. Let's join hands. Life without water is an empty dream. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Sefako. I shall now call on the Honorable C. Hatting.
Daar's nog water, ek kan nog drink. Honorable Chair, water security has become one of the biggest challenges facing South Africa. Our climate is highly variable and water is a natural scarce resource. It presents a profound challenge to our social well-being, the production of food and economic growth. South Africa is characterized by low rainfall, high evaporation levels, and periodic drought and flooding. The growing water scarcity in the Western Cape could expand into other areas as water supply decreases through lack of rainfall due to the cyclic El Nino southern oscillation phase, climatic change, unsustainable use, degradation of wetlands, water losses, and simultaneously an increased demand due to growth and urbanization. This also has a dramatic challenge for food security and stock farming. An absence of adequate water reservoirs to carry an area over a period of drought aggravate the situation. In the above circumstances, it is almost impossible to turn an already depleted water retention system which starts the rainfall season with a deficit around. The consequence is that even with normal rainfall, reservoirs will take a number of seasons to recover. The availability of groundwater shows similar declining trends. The National Overview of Groundwater Level trends for the period August 2015 to August 2017 indicates that the situation for groundwater resources continued to show a high declining trend in the Western Cape, the Free State, the Eastern Cape and Limpopo regions. Due to the declining levels of groundwater, water restrictions will also have to be considered in future for users who rely on groundwater. Climate change is already observable, and water is the most likely medium through which the impact will be felt. The social and economic impacts of restrictions could and should be eliminated through good planning. Part of the solution is to adapt to the climate change through improved sustainable use and management of water and stretching our available water resources by managing water demands, rainwater harvesting, like the Deputy Minister has stated. I can only hope that the department is prepared to walk the Deputy Minister's talk on this issue. Increasing water supply by the development of new resources, using a water mix approach, reducing our per capita water consumption of 235 litres in South Africa per day compared with a world average of 173 litres per day. A quick look at the government's response to the water security through the Department of Water and Sanitation, with a constitutional mandate for water security, does not instill confidence. The bulk of the above-mentioned measures to ensure water security are dependent on the Department for Planning, Funding, Implementation and Management. Now, this department has only achieved 52% of its targets set out in its annual performance plan, although it's overspent its budget with over 110 million rand. The department recorded a net unauthorized expenditure of over 400 million. The Auditor General found that based on the financial statement, there is material uncertainty relating to the department as a going concern and its financial sustainability. At the time of the audit, the department's liabilities exceeded its assets with 454 million, bankrupt. If it was a company out there, it would have been liquidated. The AG recorded a qualified audit opinion for the department for the 2016-2017 financial year.
Member Hatton, please take your seat. Honorable Ted. Okay, let's first check with the honorable member. Honorable Hatton, are you ready to take a question?
Not from my neighbor, no. We can come over for a coffee this evening.
He is not ready, honorable member. Continue, Honorable Hatton.
The AG has recorded a qualified audit opinion for the department for the 2016-27 financial year, indicating a regression from the previous year unqualified audit opinion. The department's water trading entity is technically bankrupt and does not have the ability to collect money owed to them. The Department of Water and Sanitation is collapsing, and infrastructure projects are delayed for years, whilst others are stopped or simply unfunded. This is a direct result of poor management and specifically political interference. Now, what is the government's response to our drought situation and climate change? The budget for this critical department for water infrastructure development decreased over R500 million from 12.7 billion in 2016-17 to 12.2 billion in 2017-2018. Funding pressures of 2 billion and unpaid contracts of 1.5 billion will leave the department with only 8.7 billion for infrastructure development in this year. Struggling municipalities are contributing to the water problem by dumping millions of litres of untreated raw sewage into rivers and dams. Now, let's hear what the AG stated about this department's leadership. Leadership did not provide adequate oversight, and that includes you, Deputy Minister, over the preparation and monitoring of the entity's budget by not taking into account the collectability of the long outstanding debt which were committed to fund activities of the entity in the same financial year, and by also spending on projects which were not budgeted for. The funding, managerial, planning and maintenance constraints which have become characteristic of the department is further aggravated by continuous and never-ending investigations into the department. In a proclamation number 54 of 2012, published on the 27th of 2012 by no one other than President Zuma, he instructed the SIU to conduct an investigation into a number of allegations, including the, and I quote, maladministration in respect of the affairs of the department and any losses or prejudices suffered by it as a result of such maladministration by its officials or employees. He didn't include politicians. This investigation had not yet been concluded. In addition, the AG reported, and I quote, several other investigations were also conducted or are in progress against officials of the entity, and that completed investigations resulted...
Honorable Hutton, please take your seat. Honorable Makua.
Chair, I rise on a point of order.
What is the point of order, sir?
We have a part of our country, the Western Cape, that is in dire situation. And this debate that Honorable Hutton is engaged in is irrelevant, Chair, to the water crisis.
Honorable Hutton, the topic is all about the impact of climate change and unpredictable rainfall. Can you please try and stick to the topic?
Honorable Chair, are you really taking that point?
Yes.
To restrict my right to speak here? This is outrageous, but I'll continue. I'm talking about the department who hasn't got the capacity.
Honorable Hutton, you cannot challenge my ruling. I am requesting you to stick to the
I don't challenge your ruling, I just question it. Honorable Chair, I'm talking about the department who hasn't got the capacity, the will, or the ethics to drive their mandate. That's what I'm talking about, whether it be the Western Cape or Gauteng. The AG reported that several other investigations were also conducted or are in progress against officials of the entity, and that the completed investigations resulted in recommendations. Remember, recommendations for disciplinary and or criminal proceedings to be instituted against the entity's officials concerned. Now, in view of the government's track record in similar situations, it remains to be seen if these recommendations will be implemented. This department, Honourable Chair, does not install confidence, does not have the capacity, does not have the will or the ethics to address the increasing threats to our nation's water security, including the Western Cape. And I refer to that because my colleague referred to it. Only the 2019 governmental change and the subsequent cleanup of the fraudulent and the corrupt and the incompetent that it will bring will be able to reinstall confidence in the efforts to secure our water provision. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honourable Hutton. The Honourable Member Ngita.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. The Honorable Deputy Minister, and also Zabang Minister, Deputy Minister, Mamu Pem Chwete, my colleagues, members of the NCOP, let me start first by quoting Mao Zedong. If we have shortcomings, we are not afraid to have them pointed out and be criticized because we serve the people. Anyone, no matter who, may point out our shortcomings. If he is right, we'll correct them. If what is proposing will benefit the people, we will act upon them. So far, I haven't heard any. Honorable Chair, the demand for water has increased and climate change conditions have significantly impacted South Africa as an evidence by 8 provinces that were confronted by drought and water crises at varied degrees. Compounding these issues is the fact that South Africa is categorized as a water-scarce country. These conditions require decisive action by government to protect and conserve water. On the 27th of September 2017, the South African government, through the Department of Water and Sanitation, signed an agreement with Cuba Institute of National Hydraulic Resource to extend the Republic of South African Cooperation Agreement from 2013 to 2023. This agreement is intended to strengthen water resources management, water supply in the South Africa through utilizing capacity and expertise from Cuba. This is one of the ways that the ANC government displays its commitment to focus and address issues of water conservation and water resource planning to ensure water security for our people at present and in the future. In the African National Congress, ready to govern document, the ANC commits to ensure equitable access and effective management of environmental and nature resources, which include water. The Constitution of the Republic of South Africa enjoins government to provide the right to reliable access to safe and adequate water to our people. Fulfilling this constitutional mandate requires conservation of planning for our scarce resource, which is water. It is behind this background that the ANC resolved in its 52nd National Conference in Polokwane that water allocation reforms and allocation of licenses to historical disadvantaged persons must be reviewed, and water resource management must be an integral part of planning by municipalities. The ANC 53rd National Conference made a resolution that would significantly prioritize water planning and conservation based on equitable redistribution. It was resolved that the policy will be implemented by the reviewing current legislation to facilitate the removal of unused and inadequate allocation from holders in order to ensure more equitable distribution of water. It was further resolved in Mangaung that water conservation initiatives such as building dams, restriction, number of gold estates should be explored. In the ANC 2017 policy discussion document, advocates for the water legislation similar to that of the South African mineral and petroleum resource sector, where the state is in full control and owns strategic mineral and petroleum. This policy posture will better position government in terms of planning and conserving water resources if they are entirely under control and ownership of government. The ANC-led government honors its commitment to water resource planning through sub-program found in Program 2 of Water Planning and Information Management of the Department of Water and Sanitation. It is under this program that the department develops an integrated water quality management strategy. The purpose for this strategy is to improve the quality of water in South Africa, which has been declining in water resources such as dams, lakes, rivers, wetlands, and estuaries. This involves serious consideration of the current and further climate change impact on our water resource. Secondly, the department has National Water Resource Strategy, which is aimed at ensuring seamless and integrated management of South Africa's national water resource. In the 2017 financial year, the department embarked on a development of a national water and sanitation water plan. The purpose of the plan is to identify and direct water and sanitation structures development in the country and ensure water security in 2030 and beyond. The establishment of the National Water and Sanitation Infrastructure Agency aimed at considering of water capacity and resource is similar as it will use to implement the master plan. The department has conducted water planning and climate change assessment for the Imzimvubu, Tsitsikamma, and Val hydraulic climate zones. In areas experiencing water shortage and issues of water security such as Lusikisiki, and the Department of Water and Sanitation intends to augment the Lusikisiki Regional Water Supply Scheme, has received environment authorization and will be constructed subject to the availability of funds. Currently, through its planning, the department has managed to identify 7 protected water sources, namely Inkomati, Lebtaba River System, Upper Val, Lower Val, Middle Val, Oliphant, and Oliphant Dune. In the effort to ensure support planning efficient and the water security for future demands, the Department of Water Affairs and Sanitation has assessed, quantified, and monitored water loss in South Africa's 8 large water supply systems. These systems include Amatole, Bloemfontein, Algoa, Oliphant River, Crocodile River, West River, the Vaal, Umgeni, and Western Cape. Although the Department of Water and Sanitation is the sector leader in terms of the planning, it is important to note that the protection and preservation is a role that cuts across, involving every South African. While the ANC-led government has demonstrated the importance of planning for water resource, it has also committed to efficiently conserve and protect our scarce water resource. Our country loses approximately 1.5 million cubic liters of water per year, which comes to 7.5 billion in monetary terms due to the leak in our system. In 2015, the presidential program War on Leaks was launched to train and deploy water agents in municipalities with the objective of saving as much water as possible. 1,848 artisans and water agents have been deployed in municipalities to fight against leaks and reduce water losses. These agents are responsible for meter reading, water use advocacy, and timely detection, reporting, and fixing of water leaks. Another significant intervention geared towards water conservation is the Drop and Block campaign, launched in 2016 with the aim of reducing water consumption, wastage through flushing water. This campaign is in line with the National Water Research Strategy 2. In the same year, Clear River campaign was launched with the aim of creating awareness with communities on the different ways of protecting our country's water resources. These include cleaning protection rivers, streams, and wetlands and dams, canals, and other freshwater resources. Although impacted by the dreadful drought condition, South Africa is a home to a considerable number of dams, which are also designated for our country's water conservation initiatives. In 2016-2017 budget vote 36, under the Water Regulation Program, the department set aside 410 million to ensure regulation for non-compliant industries such as waste and contaminated water. This will go a long way in promoting effective water use by large consumption in sectors such as agriculture, mining, manufacturing, and local government. The Water Research Commission an entity of the Department of Water and Sanitation, has developed an innovative water conservation solution. The Arumlo toilets is an example. This toilet uses 500 milliliters instead of 6 to 9 liters of water to flush. The Arumlo could make the daily water allowance in Cape Town of 87 liters per person go a long way, its use of much less than 9 liters. This could significantly assist the city of Cape Town, which is currently hard hit by the water crisis. In conclusion, the Department of Water and Sanitation 2016 annual report reflects another report towards climate change adaptation by the South African government. The annual report highlights the department signed Memorandum of Understanding in October 2016 with the Italian government. This agreement is based on technical collaboration for sustainable integrated water management through skills development and training. It is clear that water sector planning and water conservation are crucial in mitigating the adverse effects of the climate change, secure access to water in the future. The ANC-led government continued to implement domestic and international initiatives towards using that reliable access to water is a reality for South Africans. In closing, Chair,
Mama.
it is...
Chair? Your time is expired.
Oh, thank you very much, Chair.
Okay, thank you. I shall now call on the Honorable Gayla.
Thank you, Chairperson. Let us thank the people who've given us the opportunity to debate about water. To reduce the impact of climate change, government needs to invest more in water harvesting. Chairperson, in the State of the Nation address, the President Zuma announced an ambitious Mvubu Dam project. In 2014, on the eve of election, the President attended a sword-turning ceremony for the catchment of the project. But this has only been a conversation within government without implementation. Worst of all, on our oversight visits to the proposed location of the project during the provincial week, there was no activity on site after having been told by the Minister of Water Affairs that we will be met by dust due to construction activities. The Mvubu Dam would have supplied vital water for people living in some of the poorest underdeveloped regions in South Africa, in the Alfred Nzo and the OR Tambo district. After 23 years in democracy, people who stood in long queues to vote for a government who they thought would provide them with basic needs have been proven to have voted in vain. Governments must end the fight that we have been hearing about between the Treasury and Department of Water Affairs and Sanitation. The need for water is dire and urgent in South Africa. Government must start giving more attention and priority to rural development by, amongst others, providing reliable, sustainable resources of water. In Mvubu Dam is strategically placed to unlock the agricultural potential of the Eastern Cape and neighboring provinces. Secondly, the much celebrated war on leaks project has not produced a tangible result. This is so because instead of focusing on the real issue, the government has chosen to use this project as a source of patronage. In areas where this project was launched, like Port Elizabeth, water leaks remained the order of the day. As a result, only 2 weeks ago, there was no water in many of the townships in that municipality, resulting in people having no access to basic water. Government must begin to work. Phaku 2014 upresident weye ngapha enanzini emzimkhulu ethi uyoluntsha idam enizowukhelwa lona ubana nifumana amanzi. Indawo yokuqala kwale ndawo lalontshwa kuyidam angumzimvubu lalontshwa kwindawo erongo besiyile phayana umzibi ungengumzimvubu lowana. La lontshwa ke kodwa kuyacaca ubana okheke bafuna ukutya kule project. Ubana imali yale project ayiveli. Ku-2014 siku-2017 ngokuna alikakhiwe lo damelo. Iimfuno zabantu abafuna amanzi bayachaneka ubana ikhumula kakuhle kuye kunomathotholo kuthiwa kuyolontshwa iprojekthi yamanzi eMzimvubu zange ilontshwe loo nto leyo. Makavele othi yalontshwa. Besiyile phayena sifika kungekho nto ungakasuswa nezindlu beliba ziyasuswa polizokakhiwa khona idamu. So zonke ezi ngxaki ezina urhulumente ojonga ukutya ejonga imfuno abantu abajonga imfuno zabo kunojonga imfuno zabantu. Loo nto ke leyo bantu bakuthi uzofana nemjonge lo rhulumente ngamahlo abanzi.
Honorable Gaylor, order. Please take your seat. The Honorable Mteto.
Thank you, Honorable House Chair. Utatalo.
Why are you rising, Honorable Member?
Utatalo, Honorable Mhlonishwa.
Honorable Mteto, why are you standing?
On a point of order.
Okay.
Utatalona angawathatha inombuzo.
Then that is not a point of order, Honorable Mteto. Papa, are you ready to take a question?
I know umbuzo ndiyawazi ikhadi lakho liready phe ofisini yam ubufuna ikhadi le-UDM hambe uyodibana kwa-office 550 emax building ikhadi lakho liready udala undicenga.
Continue the debate.
So into yamanzi ingxaki kakhulu abantu bakuthi kodwa ke siyafuna uthetha naboomasipala bethu bana noko amanzi mababononophele. Amanzi mababononophele. Urhulumente makazame unceda abantu ayeke kuyekwe kutyiwa imali zabarhafu. Urhulumente utye 65 billion ngokwamaphepha imali engaziwayo baniye phina ngulo rhulumente ukhoyo. Inkosi.
Thank you very much, Honorable Gaylor. The Honorable Member Smith.
Honorable House Chair, today we are here to debate the state of water in South Africa, the impact of climate change and unpredictable rainfall. Now, my first question is, does the ANC government take this water problem serious? If I look at this House, I don't think so. Look at how empty it is, and I hope South Africa can see this. And to make it worse, the Deputy Minister walked out halfway through this debate. That means that she also doesn't take it serious.
Honorable Smith, the member is standing. What is the point of order, Honorable Member?
Kade uphanda sivota wena. Kade uphanda sivota lana. Manje uthatha serious lo msebenzi weParliament bakunjalo. Ngumbuzo.
Oh, honorable member, that is not a point of order. It is not a point of order. Continue, Honorable Smith. Oh, Honorable Julius.
Thank you, Chairperson. Can you please warn the member of stop with this frivolous points of order because it's disturbing the House and degrading the decorum of this House. When the member is awake for once, then he stands up for frivolous points of order. Other time he's just sleeping. Thank you.
Honorable Julius, you are totally out of order. The rules of this House allows the Honorable Mtetwa to rise up on a point of order. And I'm seated here, where I'm seated, I can see everybody. I did not see him sleeping. You were outside, you just came in now. How did you see him? Order, Honorable Julius. Continue, Honorable Smith.
Thank you, Honorable House Chair. I think you must send the Honorable Mtetwa on a course on the rules of this House because he doesn't know it at all.
He does, Honorable Member. Continue.
Honorable House Chair, as I said, it seems the ANC is not seriously taking or not taking water seriously in this country. If we look at the Deputy Minister that is not here, so I don't know who I'm speaking to except the South Africans, that is sitting with a crisis. But it is...
Order. Honorable Smith, take your seat. Honorable House Chair, why are you on your feet?
It's a point of order, Chair.
What is the point of order?
It's against the rule of the House. The member is making a statement knowing very well that is false. Is creating an impression that all members of the DA are present in the House. But it's not the case. It's not the case. So you can't make a false statement as if it's a fact.
Actually, both of you are out of order. The honorable member is supposed to stick to the question, and you cannot debate from the floor, Honorable House Chair. So now I'm going to request the Honorable Smith to stick to the question and continue with the debate.
Honorable House Chair, I believe I am sticking to that, the state of water in South Africa and the impact. And the department have got a responsibility to make sure that they attend to this. But you know, if we look at the minister, the last time she was here answering questions on it's not her responsibility, referring it to this one and that one. I actually wanted to ask the deputy minister, but she's not here, but I'll ask it in any way. When will this department start to take action against municipalities that is polluting our river systems? When will they start? Because when I ask environmental affairs, they're showing the finger to water and sanitation. When you ask water and sanitation, oh no, it's not my responsibility. So the ANC is not taking this matter seriously. When we look at drought relief, it was a drop in the ocean, the amount that was made available, and it was reactive. It wasn't proactive, it was reactive. Oh, we've got a crisis. Now we have to quickly do something. My second question to the non-existing deputy minister in this House is...
Honorable Smith, take your seat. Honorable House Chair.
As somebody who grew up pushing a wheelbarrow, maybe the honorable member can take a question. Are you ready to take a question?
Honorable House Chair.
I'm checking whether he's ready to take a question.
Please, sir. I want to address Honorable Faber. Honorable Faber, the rules of the House does not allow you to do what you did. I allowed him to, I gave him a chance to speak. Please, you cannot interrupt him. You can't, honorable member, unless you rise on a point of order. Honorable Faber, you cannot teach me how to run this House. Continue, Honorable House.
I'm not standing on the point of order. I'm checking whether the member is ready to take a question. As somebody who grew up pushing a wheelbarrow, I want to ask him a question.
Let's ascertain first, Honorable House Chair. Honorable Smith, are you ready to take a question?
Honorable Chair, I will take a question next to him when we push a wheelbarrow together, like I've also done.
He's not ready, Honorable House Chair. Now, your Honorable Isaac also want to say something. Honorable Isaac?
Chairperson, with due respect,
why are you rising, Honorable
Isaac? Through you, Chairperson, on a point of order, I do not believe that it is this House or South Africa's problem whether my colleague pushed a wheelbarrow or not, because I might be driving a Rolls Royce. That's not South Africa's problem either.
That is not a point of order, Honorable Isaac. It's a point of debate and you are out of order. You are totally out of order. Please allow the honorable member from the DA to continue with the debate. Continue, Honorable Smith.
Thank you, Honorable House Chair. The Honorable Nita were talking about fixing leaks to save water. Now, she's coming from the Eastern Cape, where in Nelson Mandela Bay, we, as the DA, when we took over, had to go and fix all the leaks. Because you left it there, and how many millions of rands got lost, and water got lost through that. So don't try and teach us about something that you are not implementing yourself. Water effective agri-systems, Honorable Sefaku. This must be one of the only countries where we are not getting support for our farmers. What is government doing to make sure that we assist farmers to become more water effective? Because it is input cost. So that should also be looked at. Don't show the finger if you're not doing your part. Then the ANC government is allowing prospecting and mining rights within sensitive water ecologic systems, like the Volspruit mine next to the Nels Vlei.
which will have a major impact on the water supply for the whole region from Zebediela right through to Modimolle. And then all those people around there won't have water. But now they don't take that serious because they only think about how much money are going to go in their pockets. That is what the ANC. And Helen Zille, our premier from the Western Cape, said, if you want to know what's going on, just follow the money.
Unfortunately, your time is expired, your 4 minutes. Thank you, Honorable Smith. Our Honorable Bredel, special delegates from the Western Cape Legislature, you're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. Honourable Chairperson, honourable members, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for the opportunity. It is an honour for me to represent the Western Cape Provincial Parliament here today. When we talk water, we need to realise that we always talk food security, we always talk jobs, we always talk dignity, and we always talk to the Bill of Rights of our people. Honourable Chairperson, to address you today on a matter of extreme urgency and importance, the Western Cape Province is rapidly running out of water. The latest available data for the past week indicates that the average dam levels in this province are only 36% full. That means, by our rough estimates, that there's only 26% usable water within our province left. Last year, at the same time, we were at 61%, and that was a tough year. Accordingly, this year, things are truly catastrophic. The reality of the situation in the Western Cape is that we received roughly 90% of our rainfall water in the winter, where the demand or the usage are only 25%. In summer months, December to March, we tend to get 10% of our rain, and we see about 75% of the demand. We are now facing those summer months, and our dams have never been as empty as at present. Honourable Chair, as the Minister for Local Government, I oversee 25 municipalities in the Western Cape. That includes the city of Cape Town. As a province, we have been overseeing the development of infrastructure in our councils. We've managed to spend 98% of the municipal infrastructure grant at the end of the 2015-16 financial year, with the major portion going to the development of bulk water and sanitation infrastructure across our province. A new 5 megalitre water reservoir was built and completed in Berg River Municipality, for example. The city of Cape Town, under the leadership of Helen Zille, started and completed the Berg River Dam in 2009 that added 20% more water to the city. However, despite these and other interventions, we have arrived at this position. The current reality is that 5 out of the 25 municipalities we oversee, including the city of Cape Town, are currently in severe distress with regards to the ongoing drought. That means they have less than 90 days of water left. The city of Cape Town may run out of water by March next year. We have an additional 12 municipalities that are at medium risk, roughly 180 days of water left, and the rest of these municipalities are considered low risk. Our major concern currently beyond the city of Cape Town with other 4 municipal councils are Kannaland, Beaufort West, B2 and Knysna. We are working hard in those areas to ensure that they do not run dry. This largely means we are tapping into underground aquifers with boreholes and driving water demand management with measures like restrictions and enforcement. In the past month, the Beaufort West Council has dismantled 250 illegal water connections and fixed more than 200 leaks in the town to save water. Now, when we talk water, we must always realize that it stands on 2 legs. The one is to reduce the demand, and we're very thankful to the public, the media, working with us to reduce the demand. Currently, we managed to get the city under 600 million litres of water per day. The other side is to produce more water, to get more water into the system. Because if we want to create jobs, if we want to secure food security, we need to get more water long-term in the system. This is clearly not the time for fooling around or for petty politicking or point scoring. Honourable Chair, the Honourable Deputy Minister acknowledged that according to their stats that 35% or the estimates are that we're going to receive 35% less water to 2050. But we must always add to that, by 2050 the population would have doubled. So there's huge pressure on government to step up. All spheres of government, private sector must take hands with government to solve our problems. And I want to ask our Deputy Minister to be more innovative on a call that desalination water is too expensive. I think that's a short-sighted idea. We need to look at desalination water because that's how we're going to fill our dams and get more water into the system. If we look at the cost factor or cost driving of desalination, I can promise you that if we partner with the private sector and make the capital investment, the repayment of the capital investment over 20 years, we will come in by 10 to 12 rand per kiloliter, and that is affordable. The same counts for agriculture. If we talk to the agricultural sector, Honourable Chairperson, it's a crucial sector for job creation and for food security. Agriculture is pulling their weight and working with us, and I also want to thank them. But if we cut the agriculture sector water usage to 60%, we will lose 36,000 jobs in this province, and we cannot afford it. That's the jobs for the poorest of the poor. If we don't all work together, and that means the private sector, the public sector, all spheres of government, we will not be able to manage this situation adequately, and we may run out of water, an unprecedented crisis that our people cannot afford right now. It must be remembered that the leading light in the water sector, as mandated by the Constitution, remains the National Department of Water Affairs and Sanitation, who signs off on our provincial water plans and is mandated to manage bulk water infrastructure in this country. We therefore call on the NCOP to also support the provinces in this call. I can remind this House on electricity and the electricity shortages that a council aren't allowed to generate electricity. They're only there to reticulate. And water is the same. To get water in our dams, to build our dams, is a national function. The municipalities must reticulate. So there's huge responsibility on all of us. But we need to go back to the Constitution, and the NCOP will need to help us all to fulfill our constitutional mandate. This is not a shift, any shift of blame, but simply a reminder our colleagues that the roles and responsibilities are very specific, and we must all pull together to get through this. The provincial government, within our limited role in the water sector, has been managing this drought to some extent since at least 2015, where we first approached the national government to declare the entire province a disaster. The request was denied, and 5 local municipalities were declared local disaster areas. At the moment, the entire province has been declared a disaster area. We have already been augmenting water supply in areas like the Central Karoo with boreholes and building pipelines in the Eden district to add to the water supply side there. Funding in our local governments are being reallocated, and some funding has been reallocated by the province to assist where we can. The Department of Agriculture Affairs in the province has, for example, been providing in excess of 40 million rand in funding for fodder for farmers that have been hard hit, in particularly developing farmers who are at last risk. Still, the summer is coming and more needs to be done. Honourable Chairperson, I'm afraid to say that things may well get worse before they get better.
Order, Honourable Bredel. Please take your seat. Honourable Zwane, why are you standing, ma'am?
On the point of order.
What is the point of order?
I just wanted to ask a question as whether the honourable member can teach his colleagues how to debate.
Honourable Julius, she is protected, 100% protected. Honourable Zwane, please.
No, I just wanted
Can you allow me to hear what she's saying so that I can take a ruling? Yes, Honourable.
I said, can the honourable member at the podium, Honourable Bredel, conduct classes to teach the DA how to debate?
Oh, Honourable Zwane, you are out of order, ma. That is not a point of order. Continue, Honourable MEC.
Thank you,
Order, Honourable Isaac.
Thank you. Thank you, Honourable Chair.
Honorable Isaac, allow the MEC to continue with the debate.
Thank
Continue,
you.
MEC.
Thank you, Honourable Chair. Honourable Chair, add to the drought. Honourable Chair, it's very important that we do realise, because what we're talking about is impacting the poorest of the poor. It's impacting farm workers. It's going to impact really the poorest of the poor. Add to the drought and the impact of the drought, the avian flu outbreak, and we are really seeing a perfect storm gathering within the Western Cape. I am bringing this to your attention to ensure that the larger picture is understood. I am pleased
Honorable Member MEC, please take your seat. The Honorable Member Wana, why are you standing up? Please, it will come up. Don't even try and press.
Thank you, Chairperson. Through your Chairperson, can the MEC of the Western Cape take the question?
Let's ascertain first, Honorable Wana. MEC, are you ready to take? Yes, he is ready.
Chairperson, through you, can you assist me in terms of the clarity of the same water in Khayelitsha currently? How are those people are getting water? Because yesterday I was there was no water. And the drought is very, very, very high in the locations. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, Honorable
Chairperson,
MEC.
to answer that, I'm going to try to be short. Obviously, government's first priority is to look after the poorest of the poor, and especially the poor areas, and they need to get 100% water. And it's a constitutional right, and it's in the Bill of Rights that I've touched on, that they need at least to get 6 kilolitres of water. If the honourable member will give me this specific area, I will look into that and contact the City of Cape Town. Maybe it's a pipe burst, I don't know. But in the Western Cape, 99% of our people do have access to water. We're the #1 province in the country, and we will keep on fighting for that because it's a constitutional right.
Honorable MEC, she said Khayelitsha.
Sorry?
She said
Yeah, in Khayelitsha, but it's, if I get a more specific area, because Khayelitsha is huge, then I will look into that and I will
And give you the word after your speech.
Okay,
I
I will
to
get
you.
that.
Thank you very much.
Honourable Chairperson, I'm now going to run out of time, but I would like to suggest moving forward that this House also debate the responsibility of all spheres of government in the funding spectrum of water. And then I also want to just put it to this House that we must realise that the water crisis is not a crisis of the Western Cape. 120 cities worldwide is currently struggling with our same problems. Climate change is real. We need to realise that. Honourable Chairperson, allow me to express my gratitude to the NCOP for your continued efforts to bring together individuals, communities and different spheres of government to debate crucial issues. I thank you.
Thank you very much, MEC. Thank you. Yeah, you really stick to the topic. Thank you very much, MEC. The Honorable Elsie Dlamini.
Honorable Chair, thank you very much for the opportunity. Let me also echo Honorable Zwane's words that I've observed. This is what I was writing when he was debating, with interest that almost all DA members from the province, they do understand this topic, they stick to their topics and deal with issues, not the ANC, not the people. We appreciate that. Almost all the representatives from the province, unlike the members here in the House. So the class will be relevant, Honorable MEC. Honorable Chair and the House, access to water is a basic human right that is guaranteed by South Africa's Constitution. It places the onus on government to ensure the progressive resilience of this right. Water availability is also a critical component of economic development and growth and in achieving outcomes of sustainable development. South Africa is a water-scarce country, and lack of sufficient water services is a constraint to economic development. Access to water is not only important for economic development, but for ensuring that basic human rights are met. In 2016, the World Economic Forum ranked a global water crisis as the highest risk potentially facing the world over the next decade. South Africa, as a highly water-stressed country, was globally ranked as the 30th driest country. In the recent years, rainfall has become less predictable and more irregular, making it difficult to plan for water availability and service delivery. This also has significant implications for water security in South Africa. For the past 3 years, South Africa has experienced below average rainfall, resulting in drought conditions across the country, with almost all of the provinces being declared disaster areas in certain areas. While some provinces have managed to recover, the Western Cape is still grappling with severe water shortages, as one of the worst droughts on record is still affecting the region. By the end of the rainfall season in 2017, the MEC has just indicated that they were at about 30%, nearly half of what they had in the same time last year. Climate models have predicted that South Africa, and particularly the Western Cape, will become hotter and drier over the next few years, with reduced water availability. It was initially expected that water demand could surpass supply by 2020 unless additional water sources are exploited. Consumption is reduced and additional storage facilities are constructed. Honorable Chair and the House, around 2/3 of water in South Africa are used for irrigation in agricultural sector, where it adds value through job creation, food security, and revenue generation through exports. Chairperson, it is undeniable that droughts will continue to negatively affect water sector across the value chain, with the potential for job losses and economic decline in many sectors, which is sometimes we blame government. Yet the climate change is beyond government. It is important that water institutions and government departments are capacitated and equipped to address water challenges, including water boards, catchment management agencies, the relevant national departments, and their related entities. Honorable Chair, Honorable Gaylor has to listen to this. During the 2016-17 financial...
Please take your seat. Honorable Isaac, why are you standing? Use the one next to you, okay.
Honorable Chair,
Give you an opportunity.
On a point of order, seeing that the honourable member on the podium seems to be so well versed on water affairs and climate control, etc., through you, will this member take a very simple question?
Honorable Dlamini, are you ready to take a simple question from the
On our
Honorable
way
Isaac?
back home, Nels Sprite.
She's not ready. She's not ready, Honorable Isaac. Take your seat.
Honorable Chairperson, during 2016-17 financial year, the Department of Water and Sanitation has had to prioritize projects and efforts that to ensure that access to water in areas where they were affected by droughts are assisted. A number of projects could not be implemented as planned due to challenges related to drought. Umzimvubu, as we were getting a report on Tuesday, was one of the projects that were indicated in the committee that they could not start it because of the drought, where they had to do intervention. To support the development of small holder farmers, the department implemented the resource and rainwater harvesting programs, a total of 1,455. I'm adding to other things that the department has done to deal with this matter. For small-scale farmers, we're provided with financial subsidies for operations and maintenance of waterworks used for irrigation. A further 807 water harvesting tanks were installed for household productive use, such as livestock, watering, and food production. Honorable members, South Africa is not the only country. If you will think that ANC government and South Africa and government alone will deal with the climate change, you're giving us too much credit. Honorable Chair, South Africa is not the only country struggling with water security. Several regions around the world, including California in the USA, Italy, Spain, part of the South American, including Argentina, parts of Australia, have experienced drought conditions in recent months that have affected water security. Many of these regions have also struggled with large wildfire, which exacerbated the challenges of water. As climate change manifests itself in several ways, including irregular and unpredictable rainfall drought, flooding, wildfires, and water constraint, it is crucial that government is in the position to mitigate challenges, plan ahead, and invest in the development of sufficient alternative sources of water and infrastructure, as well as to pursue innovative technological solutions to ensure water security. Honorable Chair, just want to indicate that I was very much happy when I saw this topic sponsored by Honorable Pambo Sibokwana, but I was so disappointed that he missed it a big way. She.
Honorable Sibokwana, you know you can't do that. This is not our language. Continue, Honorable Dlamini.
She missed it big time. I had thought that she would deal with climate change. Instead, she dealt with both her and Honorable Hatting, issues that we dealt with on Tuesday in the committee. And we agreed that we are going to call a department again with the Auditor General to deal with finances. Instead of dealing with climate change, now they're discussing the meeting we had on Tuesday. Don't rush, the meeting is coming. In fact, I have requested that they must use the week that we're going to use for it taking Parliament. They use this podium, I will call it corruption, Chair, sponsoring a motion with an aim, all of us are happy that we're going to discuss climate change as Parliament, find ways on how to deal with it, but they use it for campaigning while we have challenges of water. If they would have listened, I wish that the honourable member from the Western Cape, you could give them your speech, and they will understand what climate change is. In fact, they are so obsessed, Honourable Chair, with the ANC in such a way that they don't even listen, including Honourable Smith, what other members are saying. Honourable Deputy Minister, Honourable Sfago, Honourable Nita, I've just added to this. All of us were talking about issues or things or projects that the government is doing in response to climate change. But no, he stand up and say here the ANC is doing nothing. What about all these things that we're mentioning? Are they nothing to you? Or you are just so obsessed about the ANC in such a way that you are losing the bigger picture? You focus on smaller things, you're focusing on the ANC. You must remember that as we debate here, people out there, they are listening. All the projects that we're mentioning, they know them. If you stand up here and say the government is doing nothing, you are discrediting yourself. Honourable Chair, in conclusion, I want to say to the department that as a select committee, we'll continue supporting them. We'll do oversight where they are not doing their jobs, but at the same time, we must give them support. I thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honourable Zwane. I shall now call on the Honourable Team Pambo Sibokwana.
Hey, lithuba lokuba ndinyuke emhlali ngaphambili. Nam kuze kuzothi gango kumhlali ngaphambili. Uninzi lufanele ukuqonda ngokubanzi ngothotho lengxaki eziphejelela zezoqoqosho nezopolitiko. Kulomba ngokucacileyo kwisimo esizingqongileyo. Siyalahlekisana xa sithetha ngalomba. Kwidolophu zabo bafuneka imivuzo enganeno ngoba kusoloko kukho ingxaki kwezinto eziluncedo. Eziluncedo nesifunekayo kwindawo esihlala kuzo. Umzekelo amanzi acwengileyo okanye umhlaba opholileyo. Kodwa ngenxa yezinye imeko zoqoqosho ezithi zibe nesiphumo ukuthintela aba bangathathi ntweni namaqela angathathela ngqalelo ekuzuzeni kuzo. Njengokuba kukhankanywe kwanhlandlolo kwamandulo ngonqongophalo lwamanzi oluthwaxa uninzi lwabemi boMzantsi Afrika kungayingxaki enkulu kakhulu kwisimo sokungqongileyo kodwa nokwakhumkhanyo kokuba nezakhono ngokwaneleyo zokuhlangabezana ophambili wobonelela ngamanzi.
Honorable Mpambo Shibukwana, please take your seat. I see your hand, Mawana.
Bendicela uba inkokeli lena i-order endiphakamela ukwakha umkhanyo kukuhlala phansi ujonge ungenzi into ukwakha umkhanyo lonto. Ndicela uba abantu basemakhaya beve kuba kulento ba sizinhlaba zahlukana singababhidisi. Ndiyayicela uba kaloku esixhosa sithetha utolike enye into phansi zamuncedisana naye kule campaign ongathi ngo-19 sabe singekho.
Okay. Thank you very much, Honorable Wana. You are debating from the floor and the rules does not allow you. Continue, Honorable Shibukwana.
Enkosi umhlali ngaphambili ngoba kube nezakhono zokwaneleyo ngokuhlangabezana nomhlaba phambili wobonelelo kurhulumente. Oku kusenokuba kubungqina bezehlo ezithe zenzeka kubume bamaziko amisiweyo ukwalungisa ubonelelo nokwandiswa kwawo kumntu angathathi ingqalelo kwisebe. Ingxaki zemo ezisingqongileyo zibonakalisa ubuthathaka beziphathimandla bolawulo ngokucace gca okukade emhlophe ehlungwini nanjengentsilelo yokunqongophala kwezakhono kurhulumente wolawulo longcoliseko lomoya olusingqongileyo nakuba semngciphekweni koluntu ukuqinisekisa oku ukuba uluntu oluhlala ezidolophini lubonelela ngeenkonzo zenkonzo zamaziko asemgangathweni kubalulekile ezimpilweni nakwindawo zokuhlala kwanokuthathwa kwamanyathelo othintelo ezilolu hlobo neziluncedo ekunciphiseni kwabasemngciphekweni. Umzekelo izithuthi zendlela kunye notshintsho lwemozulu olumandundu. Okwangoku eMzantsi Afrika kukho umba oxhalisayo nomandundu malunga nongcoliseko lomoya nokongamela nobushushu bomhlaba jikelele. Okokuqala ngokuthathela umba wongcoliseko lomoya olusirhangqileyo kutshanje kufumaneke ingxele esuka kwibhanki yehlabathi iWorld Bank yokuba abantu abaphulukana nobomi babo ngenxa yongcoliseko lomoya baqikelele kuma-20,000 baseMzantsi Afrika rhoqo ngonyaka. Nokuyindleko yoqoqosho esixamali sama-300 ezigidi. Oku kubonakalisa ukuba mandundu kobunzima belizwe lethu akuchaphazeleki ukubomi kokuphila kwethu. Kodwa ke kuyo yonke loo nto xa umntu egula okanye eziva engaphilanga kwaye engaphumelelanga ukuya emsebenzini kungenxa yeengxaki ezempilo ezinjengombefu nokusuleleka kwesifuba okubangelwa ungcoliseko lomhlaba. Uthi asilele ukuqwalasela ngokubanzi ezinye iziphumo zoku ezichaphazela uphuhliso. Kwenzeka oku umntu uphulukene yimpilo nokuphulukana nomvuzo angabi namveliso nezinto ezibaluleke kakhulu kuqoqosho lethu. Kwimeko zelo hlobo abantu bona bachaphazeleka ngakumbi nangakumbi. Abasele bekhulile nabangathathi ntweni abanye abahluphekileyo abasebenzi bahlala kwindawo ezinongcoliseko lomoya de kuphinde ndithi isizathu sesokuba ukukhuseleka nokuphepha ukuba semngciphekweni kwabo. Ngoko ke luxanduva lukarhulumente ukukhusela abantu bakhe abasezingozini nabangathathi ntweni. Secondly, the issue of global warming as a Council of the Scientific Industrial Research, CSIR, when it comes to global warming, South Africa is rated one of the most vulnerable countries. The country is reported to be warming up at such an unprecedented rate that is surpassed the global rate, the global threatens various ecosystems. This would then affect ability to create food ability. And for the country, Minister Predel employment. MEC, Minister Predel, it again becomes government's duty to employ measures that will address the consequences of climate change. It is noted that by strongly relying on fossil fuels and for energy, the process may be hampered. Therefore, it is most imperative for the state to attempt to find alternative measures. It's a pity. The Deputy Minister Pam Chwede is not here. How then is water and climate
Order,
connected?
Honorable Member. You know that the NA House is busy. That is why she went there.
That's
Even
not an
if
excuse.
it's not,
She
but
should
she
be
has to
here.
be there.
She
She
should be
has to
here
be there.
to listen. Some may not realize the intimate connection that water shares. It is my duty to in absentia to to educate her that you can't talk about climate and having not talk about water. Every speaker here, even the ANC speaker, they spoke about water. Even Madlamini of Mpumalanga, who was got rid. Abantu baseMpumalanga bamgxotha as a mayor because wayengadeliverisha amanzi. This is the regions that are severely affected by droughts have such low
Honorable Mpambo
levels of
Shibukwana.
access to water.
Honorable Shibukwana, please take your seat. Honorable Dlamini.
Chairperson, I'm standing on a point of order.
What is the point of order, ma?
The honorable member, she is deliberately misleading the House and the public. I was not fired or expelled from Mpumalanga. In fact, I was promoted to national parliament from the municipality. She must not mislead the House.
I didn't allow you to speak.
Okay.
Please, wait for me, wait. Honorable Dlamini, thank you very much for the clarity. We would have heard if ever you were banished, and if ever they did chase you away, they wouldn't promote you to the National Parliament. Thank you very much for the point of clarity. Honorable Shibukwana, please take your seat. I did not allow you to stand.
Okay.
Honorable Isaac, why are you standing?
Honorable Chair, just on a point of clarity.
What is the point of clarity?
Honorable Dlamini is perfectly right. She was in fact removed as a mayor and demoted.
Honorable Isaac. Honorable Isaac.
So she's perfectly right. She's been demoted.
Honorable Isaac.
She must not deceive South Africans.
Honorable Isaac, I did not open this topic for discussion. What you are doing is totally out of order. Honorable Isaac, you are out of order. Please. I see the two honorable members are standing. Let me start with the Honorable Zwane. I'm sure it's on another topic because we are done with this one. Honorable Zwane. Yes, I recognize that. No, that one is out of order. I'm done with him. What he was saying is totally out of order. Maybe you did not hear me. You see now, Honorable Dlamini, please listen.
No, thank you, Chair. I'm rising on a point of privilege.
Okay.
How does it help South Africans to conduct the politics of character assassination? How do people benefit when we engage in this kind of politics? How does it help the public out there? And the DA must check themselves. All they know is character assassination and no substance.
Thank you very much, Honorable Zwane. Indeed, this is character assassination. Honorable Mpambo Shibukwana, unless if you have a proof that the honorable member was chased
I
away
read it in the
from-
newspaper. Can you get it?
See now. Okay, take your seat. Take your seat.
Honorable,
Honorable House Chair.
No, Honorable House Chair, with utmost respect, if the member is not going to be able to retract let the issue be attended to accordingly because it's dealing with the integrity of Honorable Dlamini and it's totally out of order. And I'm also trying to link the relevance of that with what we're discussing here.
Yeah, thank you very much. Honorable Mpambo Shibukwana, are you ready to withdraw what you said? Because it's
I
not
can
true.
withdraw.
Thank
I can
you very
withdraw
much.
so that
Thank
I
you.
can finish my speech.
Honorable Zwane, sorry, Honorable Mpambo Shibukwana.
I withdraw, I said. I withdraw.
Okay.
I said I withdraw.
Thank you very much. She said she withdraw. I see another hand. Please take your seat. Take your seat, Honorable.
Honor.
What is the point of order?
My point of order, House Chair, Honorable Isaac should withdraw what he had said to Honorable Dlamini.
What did he say, sir, if you remind us?
He said he was taken out and he was demoted.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Take your seat, sir. Honorable Isaac, the honorable member was not demoted. Then all of us in this house are being demoted because we are in this house. Can you please try and be an honorable member and withdraw those words?
Honorable Chairperson, you know as well as I do.
Don't put me in your
All right,
issues.
well,
You
okay.
cannot say I know as well as you know. I know nothing.
Well,
Please
if you know nothing, that's your problem, Chairperson.
Please
but
withdraw.
right now, with due respect, I have a right to express my opinion. So I will not withdraw because I am expressing my opinion.
But you cannot lie as you are addressing.
I'm not lying. Why? That is my opinion.
Is he demoted?
This is not
Is
facts.
she demoted?
Well, look, it's not a promotion.
Honorable Isaac, Honorable Isaac, allow me to tell you, take your seat. Allow me to tell you that you are totally out of order and the language that you are using is unbecoming. Honorable members, they deserve your respect. Please, in future, never ever repeat that. Especially that she is a woman. We can't allow you. Thank you very much. Let me lastly check with the Honorable. Do you want to say something? But please, let's close this. It's not open for discussion.
I'm not
please.
debating, House Chair, but he must withdraw because he was lying. Honorable Dlamini was never ever demoted. When we are taken out from the municipality and sent to the NCOP, that is not a demotion. He must withdraw. He cannot express his opinion on that. Because we don't need his opinion on that. He must withdraw.
Thank you very much. Actually, Honorable Isaac, I requested you to withdraw. What did you say in response? Honorable Mpambo, take your seat.
Honorable
Don't
Chairperson.
worry. We have people who are managing the time correctly. Don't worry.
Honorable Chairperson, with due respect, I say again.
Please withdraw.
I say.
Please
Honorable
withdraw.
Chairperson, I
She
say,
is heard. You cannot.
With due respect, allow me to finish, Chairperson.
No, I don't want you to finish. I want you to withdraw.
You've called me to
I want you to
express
withdraw, Honorable
myself in terms of whether I should withdraw or not. So I'm trying
Honorable
to express
Isaac,
myself,
I am
ma'am.
requesting you to withdraw because
Chairperson-
she is not demoted.
Chairperson, with due
You-
respect to the member, I have expressed my opinion.
Okay,
But
withdraw
because
the
of my
expression of
relationship
that
with her
opinion
and
because
she's
it's
coming
not
from my
allowed.
own province, if it's going to make the honourable member feel better, it's not
Honorable
going to be any
Isaac,
skin of my
Honorable
nose.
Isaac,
I will withdraw. It doesn't
Honorable
create
Isaac,
any
I'm
issue.
requesting you to withdraw
Yeah,
your
semanje
opinion
withdraw, le manje
because it's
ngenzani?
not parliamentary and it's not,
Manje
it's
withdraw
not
ile
allowed.
ngifuna ngenzani mama?
Oh, withdrawile.
Awungivi wena
Then
mama.
take your seat.
Ngiyakhuluma mama.
Take your seat then. Thank you
Ngiyabonga
very much.
sisi.
Okay.
Thank you, Chairperson.
Please, let's respect each other, honorable members. Please, continue, Honorable Mpambo.
I must say, in the interest of the children that are vulnerable is impacted. In such a situation, for the interest of the public, government needs to increase equitable access to sustainable water sources and improve sanitation in order to ensure that every child is given a chance to survive and grow. Lastly, I must again stress Honorable Chairperson, of remedying these failures of government to address the reasons of the underlying failures of the ANC. This is central to every urban environment agenda. By strengthening the capacity of the government to address the so-called brown agenda, this is a lack of sanitation and piped water supplies. This is generally regarded as preconditioning for building the capacity to address the so-called green agenda of protecting the country's natural resources, reducing greenhouse gas emissions. The DA reiterates the need for integrated planning services ministry for sufficient provision, emerging funding for support that have been affected by floods and droughts. I move that the Council resolve calls upon the National Department of Water to conduct urgent investigation into the financial affairs as national and provincial governments and state-owned entities, as well as the examination of roles and responsibilities of essential services. The report its findings to this House of the NSOP. It can work towards fulfilling one of these roles into intergovernmental relation by ensuring that the national fulfills each mandate. I want to stress, 2 minutes, that the Deputy Minister in absentia needs to be taught, reiterate, needs to be, you cannot talk about climate without talking about energy. There needs to be a class to fill her in. Please tell her, Deputy Minister Chwete. And I want to say, pervase yourself a chance, do yourself a favor. In absentia, Honorable Moshodu, Afrikaans is not a problem for me. I used to love the language when I was at school. I could deliver my speech in Afrikaans. I'm responding to what she said.
Sorry, Honorable Mpambo Chibagana. Now I'm getting lost. I'm getting lost. You are telling Honorable Mshodi that you know Afrikaans. Where does that
She
come?
said to me, say the speech in Afrikaans. She said, I'm responding to her.
But she never did. I never heard her.
She was on the floor through you, Chairperson. Honorable Dlamini, you're not telling the House that the annual report that was meant to be on Tuesday, they did not even pitch. We had to dig for it. I and Honorable Chris Hatting had to dig for it. I want to tell you, new member of the Northern Cape, it's a pity ke lebetse le nna la gae. A ke batle gore ke bitse sefane sa hae wrong. Of the Northern Cape who got into the place of monopoly. I nearly said monopoly.
Honorable Oliphant.
Honorable Oliphant. Hakibu makhaha hane ke bua ka Northern Cape. Ra di tseba dintho tse salang tse ho di province ding. Akibu makha ke na le family hona mane Kuruman. Ke na le family hona mane Kuruman. Ke a di tseba ebile ke a tshakela.
Honorable Mpambo Chibukwana. Honorable Mpambo, unfortunately, your time has expired, and I see the Honorable Oliphant wanted to talk to you. Unfortunately, Mama, the time has expired.
One chair, it's fine. Mara, Mama, you can
Mama, I did not hear that one. Honorable members, I really want to take this opportunity to take our special delegate from the legislature, the manner in which you behaved yourself. I believe many are copying from your character. And I also want to thank the Deputy Minister Chwete in absentia. We know very well that they are busy on that other side, but she managed to come and respect us and do the presentation and quickly rush to the National Assembly. We really welcome this and we really thank her in absentia. Honorable members, I also want to thank all the honorable members who were seated in this House in order to see that the proceedings of the House continue like it did, and you still seated here. Thank you very much. May the good Lord bless you. And I'm going to request you to please stand up because the House is adjourned until the procession has left the chamber.